Hey everybody, this is Jeremiah at Reed Racing. We're back for another video. In this video, we're going to be starting day 2 of the Bristol Dirt Nationals for us. Day 2 of racing, not counting practice. This day started pretty early because of the rain that they had and stuff, and schedule getting pushed back. We actually started about 7:30 in the morning, I think, for our heat race. We had to be. Let me take that back. We had to be ready to go in the track at 7:30 in the morning. Heat races started about 9. So one of our buddies, actually, that you're going to see in the next video, Matt Grawl, he almost didn't make it because they didn't announce it till almost 2 in the morning that we had to be back at the track at 7:30. But so we actually, a friend of ours, Taylor, drove his car down into the track for him since he wasn't there in time. He didn't quite make it in time to bring the car in, but he made it in time to race. So, which ended up being a good thing because he ended up making the big show. So you'll see him race in the next video in the big show. But that being said, we're going to start day 2. Basically, they inverted the first heat race to start the second one. So since we basically started 10th out of 11 in the first heat race, we were supposed to start second. Somehow we randomly got another car thrown in our heat race, and they started on the pole, so we ended up starting third, which kind of, and we didn't even know it until right before they took us out. They kind of threw them in as we were getting ready to roll on the track. So it kind of threw me for a loop. I was ready to go send it in on the high side, first corner, and I got stuck on the inside in third place. So kind of threw my mindset off a little bit, but it is what it is. So we're going to start with race third and go from there and see where we end up. So I cut the video off a little early because basically once we got to that position, it kind of just settled in and stayed there. But so we dropped back a couple spots, finished 5th. Overall, we still made another qualifying feature, which you guys will see coming up. For some reason, I didn't have the GoPro in that car at that time. I don't know if it was dead or what. And somebody was supposed to record in the stands, but nobody ever did. So I pulled a little bit from the broadcast just to so you guys could see what happened. Was it was the first time the track really got really slick, dry slick, the whole time, and well, the squirrels came out to play at that time. So it'll be a short video. I basically just ran through the highlights, but yeah, we'll get started with that. We're gonna start, I think we started 20th or 18th or something like that for that feature, but we'll see. So here we are for the A qualifier. We start 18th, get down to the first corner. It's pretty dusty. We can't see where we're going. Car in the front, something broke, went up, smacked the wall, stacked up the field, and here we come. Bam. Involved in the first incident. Don't know what was going on with the 75 car here. Lucky you didn't get rolled over. Camera kind of froze there, so you can't see what actually happened with the 75. But got involved in the first accident, didn't even make it through turn 2. So we basically had a complete restart, other than the cars that started the incident and or stopped, and we didn't even make it to turn 1 that time. Luckily, we were able to avoid getting any major damage or anything from this one. We kind of just spun while we were avoiding it. So then we get restarted again. This time we decided to hang back because we basically been involved in 2 of them. Wasn't none of our doing, but so at least we got through turn 2 this time. Everybody's pretty much trying to get all they can right now, because once you get spread out, you really can't move forward. As you can see, cars are getting kind of sketchy up here, and right about here, caution comes out, and imagine that, we're involved again. Tried hanging back, still got involved. Just on slick track, we couldn't get slowed down. So after the video cuts off, you really can't really see what happened anymore after that, to me anyways. But basically after that, we've been in a few wrecks, kind of wanted to hang back. That didn't work. I was like, all right, well, the car's beat up, we'll try it one more time. And we kind of got spread out a little bit, made about 2 laps, and then somebody just drove straight through our left rear coming out of turn 2 and spun us around, and we sat on the inside of the track for 2 laps before the caution came out. So at that point, I didn't really feel like being a sitting target, so kind of just pulled off the track and called it a day, and move on to the LCQ, which you'll see coming up next. So in the LCQ, we start 13th. They're going to take top 3, and we'll see what happens. So one thing I did want to touch on, we've been having issues with our fuel issues throughout the whole Bristol Dirt Nationals. We changed, I think I touched on it in the last video, stepping over a panel, but touched on it in the last video, but get better light. I touched on it in the last video, but we had went to the trailer to try and get a fuel pump, and they were already out of them, and we borrowed one from a friend. The one from the friend of ours would hold up to the fuel demand, which was great, but we kept having oil getting all over, and we couldn't figure out where it was from. At first we thought it was valve cover, so I changed valve cover gasket, stuff like that. Just couldn't figure out where it was coming from, and because it wouldn't do it in the pits. We couldn't get it to leak anything whatsoever in the pits. So we're like, all right. We ended up figuring out so this is a fuel pump right here. Let me get it on the screen. So on this little area right here, one side of these is drilled out for a vent, basically to help vent crankcase pressure or whatever. And there's a little diaphragm inside here that stops oil from coming out of there. Well, on that pump that we borrowed, the diaphragm must have been bad because oil kept shooting out the front side of this. And we figured it out after we changed the valve cover gasket, because pretty much we had cleaned everything off and it was wet here forward. So, it's kind of, process of elimination, that would be the only thing it could be. So we ended up putting another fuel pump on it, and that the trailer had at the time, because they finally got some more in, and basically had a shipment come in while they were out there. So we got one of those, put a brand new Holley fuel pump on there, and went out for the LCQ. So with that, we'll get started with the LCQ. we started 13th in our LCQ. There was 3 LCQs total. There was 5 guys from our area that were in the LCQs. There was me, Matt Grawl, who you'll see in the next video, who made it into the feature, and so we put our GoPro in his car for the feature. So thanks for letting us do that, Matt. But then we also had Jason Bass and Corey Van Zaney and Greg Elliott. Greg was in the second LCQ, but the 4 of us, other than Greg, were all in the first LCQ trying to go for 3 spots to get into the feature. So one of us wasn't going to make it for sure, but Matt was the only one that made it. Him and Corey were racing for the last transfer spot at the end of that LCQ. Our car was not near fast enough. I think it would have been. I showed you guys a fuel pump in the last clip in the garage. We put that brand new Holley fuel pump on, and it did the same thing that it happened to us in practice, just not quite as bad. Basically, we'd get into the corner and the thing would kind of fall on its face, wouldn't have any go. Just couldn't keep up with the fuel demand. I'd watch the fuel pressure gauge just kind of bounce, down and between like 3 to 6 psi in the corners, and then it would come up on the straightaways. So with being down on power on a wide open racetrack, pretty hard to move forward. I think if the fuel pump wouldn't have messed up, we probably could have maybe drove up and gave them a run for their money. I don't know that we would have made it far enough to get into the show, but we probably could have made a run at them at least. So congrats to Matt and Greg for both making the show, but that's pretty much it for this video. The next video, you'll see Matt's vantage point from the feature. So it's 30 lap feature, and we'll see how he does. If you guys enjoyed this video or you enjoy any of our videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And with that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to check out our Facebook and Instagram as well, and all our partner links down in the description below. Thanks for watching.